Hello, and welcome to a new podcast, Tattoo Cuties. I am your host, Sav, and I'm a cutie who tattoos. I'm here with my first guest and co-owner of Remedy Studio, Diva. She is a cutie who is tattooed. Hi.
Hi.
So, Diva, we've known each other for 8 years. Around that. I tattooed you when I was an apprentice. What did I tattoo on you?
You tattooed that piece on the back of my calf, all the faces.
Yeah.
And spooky.
Did I ever tell you? So the piece that Diva has by me is by Shintaro Kago, which is a Japanese horror illustrator. And he has Instagram and he actually liked it.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
That's cool.
I mean, I hope it's him. I'm pretty sure it's his Instagram. I'm 90% sure. So there's a 90% chance it was him liking that tattoo.
That's pretty cool.
And it holds up for being an apprentice tattoo, I'd say.
Yeah.
I thought it would make sense for Diva to be the first one on this podcast because we opened this business together, which was
a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
We went through hell. Yeah, so we opened this about a year. No.
Almost a year. It was a year in May.
Yeah. We started talking about it back in October of 2023.
Yeah.
And then it is now, what year?
2025.
It's 2025.
Yeah.
We officially opened in August of 2024.
September.
August or September.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really rough ride.
It was a long one. A lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was different at Remedy Tattoo because I just had to do cosmetic stuff. The building was done, everything was great. But with us here, we started from the bones.
Yeah. We had to do all the plumbing, the HVAC. We had to build our little room.
Yeah, behind my station in this wall is Diva's hairdressing room, where she does hair. Because she's a hairstylist. I don't know if I mentioned that. We have known each other technically for 8 years, and I kind of bullied Diva into opening this space with me. I thought, you're cool. You do cool hair. I do cool tattoos. And we have a surprising overlay of clientele.
Yeah,
so
a lot of overlap with them.
Yeah, it just made sense to mesh our businesses together. And at first, you were kind of...
I was a very strong no at first, but you just kept working away.
I got charm.
Something.
Yeah, I got something. And eventually, here we are. It was, yeah. I think it made our bond stronger, though, because we went through literal hell in this space and took different mental breakdowns while the other person would be strong for the other, I'd say.
It worked out really well.
Yeah.
When I would not be okay, you would be okay.
I'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Pull it together for the team.
Yeah.
We bounce back and forth.
Yeah. So here we are, looking cool as ever in our matching camo. We also just did a color analysis, if you've ever heard of that. And I got a neutral deep autumn, which I think fits the theme of wearing all camo, which is an autumn theme.
Sure.
Yeah.
You look kind of autumny.
Yeah.
Got some brown leaves on you.
Yeah, some dead leaves.
Yeah.
And then what were you? Do you remember?
I was a true summer.
A true summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think the camo's working for you, though.
Yeah, late summer.
Yeah. What did you think of the color analysis?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Being a hairstylist, works with a lot of color and understanding color theory a bit. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought, knowing how color pigments work in tattooing, that I would understand more. But when it comes down to my own skin tone, I don't think I knew as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, and I think it's weird too for hair, because you don't want a color that's going to wash you out or blend in with your skin. But I feel like color analysis was you want something that will kind of blend in with your skin in a way. Yeah. It was interesting.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It makes me want to explore more than just wearing black all the time. That's where we're at, present day, wearing matching camo and doing color analysis. Analysis? Cameraman does not know. So I think, that means we're at a good place at this point. How do you feel after now being open for almost 6 months?
I feel good now. Sorry, we looked at October 2023, and then the build started January 2024.
Yeah.
And then we got the keys in mid-April, and it wasn't done.
Not even close.
No, we didn't have lights. We didn't have HVAC. We didn't have a plumbing. It was just an empty room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one was helpful. No contractor, no plumber, nothing. And I think they looked at us as silly little women who don't know what they're doing. But because we had to do so much, we actually learned a lot and realized that they don't know what they're doing and it's their jobs.
Yeah.
So
no one helped us. We had to figure everything out by ourselves. All the city stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And expensive.
The back and forth.
Yeah. So, you know, we're kind of pretty cool because we did learn a lot of stuff. Our brain grew. Our 2 brain cells multiplying.
Maybe into 4.
At least. Maybe 3.
Maybe.
We might be sharing one of them.
Yeah. We now have 2 each and 1 bounces back and forth.
Yeah, I get it on weekends. I love it. Our space is beautiful. If you do see my vlogs, I post our studio obviously a lot. So if you were to check out the vlogs, you'll see more of it. But for now, this is just kind of our backdrop for the podcast. And like I said, we're going to be talking about tattoos. We are going to first, though, talk about your first tattoo.
My first tattoo.
What was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo was my 3 little kodamas on my arm. I knew I wanted to build a sleeve based off of Princess Mononoke. And I kind of wanted to like test out my artist, see if she was, you know, familiar with the movie and that kind of stuff. I was also really nervous. I was really, really nervous. I knew I wanted to be tattooed, but I was really scared for what the pain was going to be like.
Yeah.
But it's so easy. I feel like you build it up so much more in your head and expect it to be way worse. But
which is kind of nice though. I find it's kind of nice to get your hopes up for the tattoo's going to be like really painful, because then it's the best way to get your hopes down. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Because you like build yourself up to it and then you get done and you're like, oh, this actually isn't that bad.
Yeah. How old are you?
I was 18. I was like right on my 18th birthday.
That's a good first tattoo for 18.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's nice to have an artist who knows the project you're getting, because it's kind of hard if, you know, you're especially an anime tattoo and they're like, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. And I wanted them to kind of appreciate it too and understand the whole feeling of the movie.
Yeah.
Try to translate it into it.
Yeah. Because as a tattoo artist, I enjoy doing tattoos of things I love.
Yeah.
I'm more into it. I'm more passionate about the tattoo. And, you know, ultimately you're going to get a better tattoo that way.
Absolutely.
I find. But another thing is, your dad's a tattoo artist. So you grew up in the tattoo industry.
Yeah.
And you didn't get him to do your first tattoo.
No. No. There's a whole story with that one.
Oh?
He did not want me to be tattooed.
At all?
No.
And look at you. Well, you can't see with all the camo, but you are covered.
Yeah.
You're pretty much like head to toe, literally.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, because you even have a little flail on the side of your head now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Temple to ankle.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he didn't want you to ever have tattoos.
No, he
You
really
should have
didn't.
been a tattoo artist then.
No. And I mean, he was a single father for the most part, so I spent almost all of my time at the tattoo shop. And it's funny, when I was younger, I did not want to be tattooed. When I was really young, I didn't want to get tattooed.
Really?
Yeah. And then as I was a teenager, I was like, no, I want to get tattooed. Like, that looks sick.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then after your kodamas, did you keep working on your Princess Mononoke sleeve?
Yeah. So after my kodamas, I think we did San, and then we did the wolves, and then we did Ashitaka. And then I have like the forest spirit up here.
Yeah.
So I think we filled in all this stuff. She did really good because she literally drew all this stuff on me.
Wow.
And just freehanded it. And then we actually like planned out the top of my sleeve a little bit better. That's the only regret I have. She told me that we should have planned this out better.
Yeah.
So the placement of some stuff, I don't really like it anymore.
Fair.
I'm still happy with it. Like, it's a great tattoo, but I wish I would have listened to her for that, which I did for this. Like, it's very fluid and we did plan it all as a solid piece.
I mean, it's a beautiful sleeve. I always look at your sleeve, and I think it's such a beautiful
I
one.
love this.
Yeah.
This stuff, it's amazing.
Yeah, the forestry she did is amazing.
Yeah.
And if you weren't wearing, a long sleeve, I'd get you to show off the rest because
it's a zip up, so.
Oh, show it off. Because the top is beautiful. Like the deer god, like in his nighttime version.
Little butterflies, and then, because we wanted to do like the trees, and then he was coming out from
from the trees.
Yeah, and the blues have all held up really well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for like being how many years old? Almost 10-year-old sleeve at this point, right?
Yeah, pretty close to it. I don't go in the sun.
Good.
And I also wear a lot of sunscreen.
Good. That's what tattoo artists want to hear. No, it's a beautiful sleeve. So that's very lucky.
Shout out to Sam So Tattoo.
Shout out.
She's very talented.
I wish I could say the same for my first tattoo experience.
Yeah. What was your first tattoo?
I was 15. I was at a tattoo convention, and I was kind of playing the divorced parent card, who's cooler. Nice. And I convinced my dad to take me up to booths to get tattooed. And we lied and said I was 16 because 15 is a big no-no apparently, but 16 with parental consent was a yes. Although I would never. I don't tattoo anyone unless they are of age to speak for themselves. Parents should not be signing for their kids. Because there was that one thing you showed me about the 9-year-old with the American flag tattoo.
Yeah.
And it's real.
It's real. It's real. A 9-year-old in Arizona got tattooed. And she at first wanted a portrait of Donald Trump on her neck as a 9-year-old.
No.
And then the tattoo artist convinced her go on the shoulder and get the American flag. It's a very well done tattoo. But
she's 9.
But she's 9, and that's completely legal in that state as long as she has parental consent.
Awful. No, that's not right. I guess back to relating to that, being too young to get tattooed, we went to booths. Finally, one said yes.
Yeah, how many did you go up to?
I can't even remember. Probably like 5 booths.
Okay. And they all said no?
Yeah, they all said no. And then finally, a guy was just like, yeah, I got time, whatever. You could tell he did not care. And he's like, what do you want? And it was a memorial piece for my brother who had passed away. So I got angel wings and his name with birth and death date in the middle on my shoulder blades. 15, when I went to high school, like the next day, I looked so cool.
Oh, dude, you're the coolest person in school.
Yeah, and then I look back and they were crooked. They were badly done. I also worked at a dim sum restaurant when I was 15. And of course, I'm buying the shirts that are all backless.
Of course.
And working, my back showing, and this older gentleman is just like, is that a tattoo for your boyfriend? And I'm like, no, it's a tattoo for my dead brother.
Honestly, that'd be hilarious.
His friend was like, you just fucked up, dude. And they didn't say anything. They just ate their dim sum in peace.
Left you alone after that?
Yeah. I don't know who asked that. There's clearly a birth and death date.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a boyfriend. And it's also like back in 96. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was a poorly done tattoo. And then I finally eventually, as I got older and realized this sucks, I need to cover this. And I got a whole back tattoo from the nape of my neck around my rib cage and then to the back of my thighs. And it's huge. And it's kind of like a Grim Reaper lady. So it's still like kind of like to do with death, but just a more subtle, huge memorial piece. So yeah, I say really think about your tattoos. I would say even 18, like
it's young.
It's too young.
It's young.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything because it's my job. But I will like also help direct people in the right way for their tattoos. But even when I started getting tattooed at 18, like I still got things I end up regretting. I wish like I waited till my mid 20s where I'm like, okay, these are things I really like. I would be covered in anime. Everything would be an anime or video game tattoo. But I do have a lot still.
Yeah.
It's just I've covered a lot. I've gotten laser, and laser hurts really bad. So make sure you love your tattoos because the laser, I had to do 7 sessions just to lighten it for a cover up. So that wasn't even to get it fully removed. That was just for it to be light enough to get it covered with a colored peony. I can zip it
You can
to show. Oh my God. Da-da-da-da. There it is, my peony on my knee, all colored. So there used to be it used to have a shark jaw around my kneecap that I did when I was an apprentice, and it was really bad. So now it's great.
It's beautiful.
Do you think that's a really good like ASMR? Nice. We had to switch quickly from the camera to my phone because our studio is definitely haunted.
Yeah.
I have charged that camera and it will just like die, and it's only here. Anywhere else it's totally fine. It has a normal battery life, but
well, even when we did our little ghost hunt,
that's right,
that you can watch.
It's true. There's a vlog about it.
It died really fast and you fully charged it that time too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And this may be our second time trying to film this podcast. But it was fine for like 2 hours almost.
Yeah.
But suddenly it just died, and that was 16 minutes. So very cool. Yeah. Ghosts. Very cool. Go check out that vlog.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't know how I feel about it.
I know how I feel about it. Our studio is not super haunted, but downstairs in the basement are super haunted.
The basement is for sure. That downstairs area. I got an Ouija board, and I really want to one day in this space use it.
Yeah.
And just see, but then we need to like sage.
Yeah, oh definitely.
Yeah.
I remember after we did the ghost hunt, I was working in my room and I saw something walk past the door. And then it's crazy because I didn't see the photo of the family that used to live here. I didn't see that.
Oh, really?
Until your vlog.
Oh.
And I watched the vlog after I saw that. And the woman in the photo was the woman I saw walk past my door. Yeah, it was insane. I saw the photo of her and I was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, you can feel it. And just like the motion, we have motion lights in our hallway, and in the daytime I don't find they turn on at all. But as soon as it's nighttime, they're just like boom, 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 like someone's walking by.
Ugh.
It's freaky.
Yeah.
We got little ghosty friends. So far, I think it's okay though.
Yeah, like I said, it feels fine here. It feels a little more iffy downstairs, and in the basement, like you can really feel it in the basement.
And
it doesn't feel good.
No, and it doesn't like women down there. No. So that's fun. Yeah. At least it likes us up here.
Yeah,
because we got quite a few more years in this space. So
we do. After all that, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I'll be a ghost here.
Yeah, I am dying here, and they're gonna bury me out back.
Yeah, in the basement.
Yeah.
Back to tattoo stuff.
Yeah.
What is your favorite tattoo?
I think my favorite tattoo is either the dead night that you did recently, or the Sophie that you did. The trad Sophie that you did.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because
I am not a trad artist by any means. It was like a experimental phase in my life with tattooing. And I wanted to do this anime like trad take, and I drew, was that Flash? Or did I draw that specifically for you?
You drew it for me. I think you told me you wanted to try like a trad piece.
Yeah.
And I know I wanted a Sophie tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You drew it.
Yeah, it's crazy it's still your favorite because my like style is very like fine line anime.
It's beautiful.
But I do love the night we did. I'll post a picture of it like here.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the night. We've even entered it in some contests.
Yeah.
We've lost.
Yeah.
We also did a very colorful Chainsaw Man piece, which we'll also post right here. And we entered that in a contest and lost.
Lost both times.
You're a winner in my heart.
Oh.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And I think they're, I might be a little biased, but I think they're pretty good.
I think they're pretty good too. I think it's kind of, I don't know, unfair because a lot of stuff people enter in contests are these huge, like full legs, full arms. Like that's why we lost the anime one.
That's right. It was like a
back or something.
Yeah, a back to arm,
or like a full sleeve.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. And instead of like looking at a project that might be smaller and really
with the quality.
Yeah. And detail and everything, they look at like the bigger pieces. That's what I find in a lot of tattoo competitions, which, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. So 2 of your favorite tattoos are ones I did.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess
Good for my
so.
ego.
I think if I was, okay, so those are top two. My third favorite probably has to be my Ink Master one. Because that was just a cool experience behind it.
Ooh, yeah. So yeah, you were on Ink Master.
Yeah.
And so was your husband.
Yeah.
So tell us about that experience.
It was pretty cool. It was a really long day. I wasn't expecting to get into it. I mean, they just started filming in Vancouver. The last 3 seasons have been filmed in Vancouver when they changed everything.
Oh yeah, after
that happened.
the debacle of all the judges.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Jeremiah didn't know what he was getting. His episode was completely whatever the artist. I think it was the first episode, so it was whatever the artist wanted to do.
Oh, like to show off like their
style.
talents. Yeah.
And then mine, I had more of a say in it. I wanted a skull transforming into a chrysanthemum in like a Japanese style. I was there for 18 hours. It was like 18 hours. I got there at 7 a.m. I left at 1 a.m. the next day. It was a 6-hour tattoo. She used every minute of those 6 hours too. I think I went to the bathroom before we started. I got up twice to stretch for like 2 seconds.
Oh my God.
And we just like blasted through it.
And then there's always cameras on you though too.
Yeah, there's always cameras on you. I remember one point we were getting close to the end and I'd close my eyes. I kind of just do that when I'm getting tattooed for a while just to focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I closed my eyes and I could feel a camera like right in my face. So I could hear the humming of it.
Oh.
And it was so weird. I was scared to open my eyes. I didn't want to be like,
hello.
Hi. Yeah, it was weird having cameras on you and being filmed. And then seeing yourself on TV too is really weird.
Yeah.
Because we had to go down the line and say what we wanted as a tattoo,
Mm-hmm.
which the producers gave you like a really short explanation of your tattoo, which helped a lot. But yeah, you go down the line, you say your tattoo, and then the episode I was on, they were doing skull picks. So the team that had won the week before were giving out the skulls.
Oh, okay.
My artist, Charlene, was on the winning team, and she wanted me, like she picked me, which was really nice.
Yeah.
She was really sweet.
Aww.
Her Instagram is painted hearts.
Hey, shout out.
Yeah, and then I think they had an hour or two to draw it. We went for lunch and we just sat until they were ready to start tattooing. Did the 6-hour tattoo, and then you finish, you go back to holding, and then they take professional photos of the tattoos. I had to stand on this box, and this girl had to wipe my tattoo so many times after getting tattooed 6 hours straight. My leg has its own heartbeat.
Yeah, it's raw.
It's raw.
Yeah.
And they wiped it, and they wiped so hard on it too.
Ugh.
Any glare in the photos.
Right, yeah. Especially for like TV.
Yeah.
Like
you don't want to get any glare for it. That's what they use for the judging.
Oh.
Right? So you don't want to like
just wiping.
fuck it up. And she was wiping me, and I could just feel like I was getting cold sweats.
Yeah.
I was like, so I'm not feeling great. I think I need to sit down. I almost fainted. I fully almost fainted.
I'm not even surprised.
Just from the wiping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be like the worst part, especially after like such a long time and day.
Yeah.
And then, you have to stand there and let them like dry wipe your raw open wound of a leg.
Yeah.
And here's the cringiest part I find is that they call you a canvas. Ew. No, we don't actually call people canvases. That's definitely just for TV. I hate it.
Some people do.
Oh, even when I have clients that come to me and they're like, I'm your canvas. I'm like, you're not. You're a human.
You're a consenting human.
You're a consenting human. This is your idea. I'm just here to help with it. Yuck. I don't know. It's just a gross term to me. It's kind of cringe.
Yeah.
That's a cringe.
It's a cringe.
Yeah.
Let's be real though. I have definitely been your canvas before. You're like, hey, I want to try this.
Yeah,
do you have any space?
Yeah. You're my human, fleshy, walking advertisement.
That's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite tattoo?
Probably my one that I got in Japan. Which also has a fun story.
Yeah.
So there is an artist that I've looked up to since my tattoo career. Shout out to Hori Benny. He specializes in like these very vibrant, colorful anime tattoos. And I went and got my whole thigh done by him of Sailor Saturn. It starts like just above the knee, kind of goes into my crotch a little bit. I had planned for it to actually only be on my shin.
Whoa.
But when he was holding the stencil, he kept being like, to my thigh. And I was like, and he's like, do you have any plans? And I was like, I guess this is my new plan. So I let him tattoo it on my thigh. I'll post a picture of it here too, because it's beautiful. I love my thigh piece. It took 12 hours, as Diva has taught me, because I thought it was 11, and then we realized it was 4
to 4.
Yeah, 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. And I also felt like my leg was just so raw. I couldn't tell what was going on by hour 9. I think I was like having a body high experience. I didn't think it would take so long, so I didn't bring any food or anything. And his assistant actually had to run to 7-Eleven, and all she brought back was like a Coca-Cola and cookies. And I was like, I need food.
Great.
But that was sweet enough. And it's interesting, in Japan culture, I guess you don't leave until your boss leaves. So his assistant and his apprentice were there till 4 a.m. with him. And I just felt so bad. But apparently they were all fine. They're used to it. Yeah. It's normal for them. And then I was only there. That was my second day. And I was in Osaka. And I was like, am I going to be safe walking back to my hostel? I don't even know where I am. And they kind of all laughed. They're like, yeah, you're fine. You're a tattooed white woman. No one cares about you. And I was like, yeah, okay, fair. So I'm walking down the streets, and like the salarymen are already on their way to like the train stations to head to work. And you could tell they're looking at me like, am I gonna get robbed by this woman?
Yeah. Is she gonna mug me?
Yeah. And I look messed up. I look so high.
You probably got crazy eyes.
I did. My eyes were like bloodshot, but like I looked stoned. Like I FaceTimed my mom while I was walking back to my hostel, because I was like, I'm lost. I have a 12-hour fresh tattoo and I'm lost. And she's just laughing at me. And finally I find my way back. But then I have to go on a train at 8 a.m. because I need to head to Tokyo to meet my friend. And in that time, he didn't have second skin, and I didn't know that, so I didn't bring any. And I just had these like light joggers, and I put them over like my seeping tattoo, because the saran wrap had obviously fallen off already.
Right.
So I'm like hustling to the train to make my like shikansen, and I finally make it, and I'm not even like thinking of my leg, but as soon as I sit down, I look, there is a blood print of my whole tattoo, like just an outline of it covered, like, and I'm like trying to pull my pants, but it's like stuck to the open wound. And I'm like looking around, because I'm like, oh my gosh, these Japanese people probably think I'm even more crazy, because I'm just like a bleeding white woman on the train.
Like, who did she just murder?
Yeah. And they're probably all like, I'm not sitting by her. And I was delusional, I remember, but like, it's such a beautiful tattoo, even though like I had 3 weeks of traveling, so I didn't take care of it well. I think I got a little infected.
Didn't you say you went into one of
I went in an onsen too. How can I not? I'm in Japan. Yeah. And even that night, like when I met up with my friend Tokyo, he's like, we're going to like the robot cafe, and there's drinking and neon lights and robots. And I was like, okay,
let's go.
And so I partied with this like open wound, and I'm like, I'm not well. But I mean, even though like it's a little, it could use some love, I still love it. And I ended up going back a second time. I got tattooed again, but I went on my second last day.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. I brought second skin because I was like, he doesn't have any. So I wrapped it all up. He's like, do you want me to touch up your thigh? And I was like, no, because I don't want to be here for another 12 hours.
Don't touch me anymore.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact. I was on my period. It was the first day. When you get your period and you get tattooed either the day before or the day of, because we're already releasing more endorphins, I think that's the word, scientific fact, I don't know. You're releasing something more when you're on your period, and your pain intensity is so much more heightened. So I felt so bad. I did not sit well for that tattoo.
Oh, like you were more sensitive to the pain.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
But like my leg and ma'am? And I felt so bad because I sat like a rock for the 12 hours, but 7 hours on my shin, I was like...
What was the time difference? Like how many years apart was that?
2.
Okay.
I was only 2 years apart. I felt so bad, but then the next day I got my period and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you are planning your tattoos and you are someone who gets a period, try and plan it either at the end or after. That's when you're not as sensitive, because it does hurt more.
It does. It makes a difference for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you have to, bring some Tylenol. Only Tylenol, no Advil, no ibuprofen. Those like thin your blood. We don't want that. Tylenol, some snacks, a good drink, even a blanket. Stay comfy for your tattoos.
Yeah.
So that's my long story of my favorite tattoo.
It's a great story.
Yeah. And, my leg is now like this beautiful, like, trad Japanese style. I got like an Osuke on the back. I got Yoko from Gurren Lagann. And then some like traditional kind of Japanese flowers and clouds. It's turned into a good piece.
Together.
Yeah, it's come together. And
was your thigh one, was that the first time you went to Japan?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I was there for 3 weeks. And then the second time I was there for 2 weeks. And that's when tattooing was still illegal. It is now legal in Japan, which is great. But yeah, when I went there, and it was still illegal, when you walk into a shop, it looks like an art gallery with some like clothing available. But then you go up these stairs and like it's like kind of hidden up these stairs where there was like 2 tattoo beds. But yeah, they do not advertise.
I've heard, so we were talking to that artist from Korea in Seattle.
Oh yeah.
I think he was saying that, I think it was in Korea, that it's like a barber shop.
Yeah.
And the back of it's a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's still illegal in Korea. And I think you need to have like your doctorate, like
I think
PhD or
I
something.
feel like that's what he was saying too.
Yeah. Like it's still very much illegal. I'm surprised it got legalized in Japan.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was still illegal.
No, yeah, it's legalized because even Hori Benny was telling me that his shop's been raided a few times and he was like getting ready to like shut down.
Whoa.
But then, yeah, it was legalized to know, oh, that's fine. And he can stay in Japan.
Interesting to me that it's illegal there.
Yeah.
Isn't that where tattooing like originated?
Yeah, for Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still interesting because some onsens will still not let you in if you're tattooed. You can find onsens. It's just you have to do your research. I found a whole town that let you go in even if you're like heavily tattooed. Kinosaki Onsen, go there. It's amazing. I miss it. I want to go back there so bad. So you can. It's just research, and you're still going to get stared at. It's still very obviously like not a big part of their culture. So
I feel like now with how much tourism they get, it's like becoming more normal. I guess it just depends on the city you go to.
Yes.
Like, can you go to temples?
Yeah, but
you have to cover.
You have to cover.
Yeah,
you still have to cover. And I mean, it's just a respect thing, anyways.
Totally.
Like, I want to wherever I go, I want to respect that country's ways.
Especially in Japan, where it's like it's still very, very like old fashioned that way.
Oh yeah. So I don't want to disrespect anybody with my
tourists. Don't ruin Japan.
Yeah,
please
stop it.
Stop. Not just an Instagram location.
Yeah, stop it.
It's a beautiful country.
It is, and us tattooed harlots.
Yes.
We must wear our full camo.
Yeah.
We'll never see us.
We'll just blend right in.
Yeah, we'll be in a bush.
Hit the full like ghillie suits.
Yeah.
We are just a bush.
Yeah, we are the That'd be sick.
Imagine traveling with that on a plane.
You would be on a list.
Yeah.
You are not.
Oh yeah.
You are not going.
Oh girl, with my name, I'm already on a list.
Yeah. True. With my personality, I'm probably on that. So, see you in Japan in our ghillie suits.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this is no segue for any reason, but do you have a tattoo that you hate?
Oh my god, yeah, I do. I got this Scream pinup girl on my leg, and she's just too small. Maybe we'll put a picture here so you can see it.
You don't want to try and show it for the camera? Show it off. You can show it.
I don't have a photo.
It is, for audio listeners, a poorly done pinup style girl.
The Scream
with a Scream mask.
It's just too, I think if it was bigger, it could have been better. It's
maybe
too small. Her hand.
That little hand with the weird knife. And her face is like completely bled in.
Yeah, you can barely make it out anymore. I like the idea of it, but it's definitely probably going to be one of my cover-ups that I do down the road.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, a few laser sessions. I know I just said how shit laser
No, dude, I'm getting a solid black tattoo there. I'm not, I would rather that than laser it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I want to get, do you know the show Disenchantment?
Yes.
Yeah, so you know Lucy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get like a big
version
of Lucy when it's like, I don't know, more of a ghosty kind of thing where it's not just their body.
Yeah.
Kind of cover it up because I have like a little spot where I think
I think you could easily cover that up.
Make it work, right? Yeah, see, there's that one.
I mean, honestly, like, to toot my own horn, that one has healed and looks pretty good. Like,
for all the detail?
Yeah. And I did that when I was only like 2 years into tattooing.
That's crazy.
And that's like 9-year-old.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got in 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, I was baby apprentice then. That's
definitely
pretty good.
A picture so people can appreciate it too.
Yes. It looks good on her leg still. This is how it looked. And it looks exactly like what this picture looks like still.
Yes.
Nice.
So that's my least favorite tattoo.
Was it an okay experience with this artist, or was it kind of also not great? I feel like it's always like a bad tattoo kind of ends up going hand in hand with like not a good tattoo experience.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an awful experience. Nothing really happened. It was honestly one of my most painful tattoos.
Really?
Yeah, they were fresh out of their apprenticeship.
Like they should have still been an apprentice. Just saying, we are not going to shut out this person.
I don't want to shame them. Yeah, they a couple months after finishing their apprenticeship, and I just, like I said, it was one of my most painful tattoos. And I have a lot of tattoos and painful spots, and that was torture to get through.
That's,
And it was a fine experience. I mean, I didn't feel uncomfortable or anything.
Well, that's good.
Besides, like, physical pain.
Yeah. That's good. You always should feel comfortable at your tattoo appointments. And if you ever get that kind of like gut feeling like, I don't want to be here, almost like that fight or flight, and you're feeling that flight, fly, get the heck out. There's a reason like that's kicking in. And you should just trust it with tattoo situations. And even if you're not feeling the tattoo design, it's not what you're wanting. If you are uncomfortable saying no, just say, you know what, I need more time. I need to think about it. Maybe the artist is a little more rude to you in that moment, or it's an uncomfortable situation, but it's better to then just ghost them.
Yeah, then have it on your body forever.
Yeah.
You're not happy with it.
Oh, yeah. I've had a few of those, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So I would always recommend if you're just not comfortable saying no, just be like, I need some more time to think about it. And then you can comfortably just find another tattoo artist elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because there's so many of us now, and there's so many talented ones. And with the power of social media, it's so easy to find artists these days. Like, it's almost scary how many artists there are.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get lost in it, I think, also, or overwhelming. I know even as a tattoo artist, it almost feels like I'm like always fighting to get seen at this point, which is, again, I've been tattooing for a long time. Like, I felt really comfortable, but like in this day and age of social media, I just feel like it's like a fight to show off your stuff.
Oh yeah. Social media really sucks for that now.
Yeah. It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah. It's good because yes, you're going to see a lot of our lives on social media, and maybe that will form, in a sense, a parasocial relationship. You get to know someone before you go in for a tattoo. But I'd rather someone feel comfortable with me than you're going in and you're like, I have no idea what this person is like.
Absolutely. Like some presence.
Yeah. I've had a few experiences.
Yeah. What would you say is like your worst tattoo or experience? Because they might be the same.
Yeah.
Tattoo.
Yeah. So I'll share one. I have a few, but we can save it for a few podcast episodes.
There you go. Spread it out.
Yeah. I'll share one of them. And it was from the very beginning, where I was a wee baby of 18 years old.
Flashback.
Yeah. And I decided I wanted a tattoo for my mom, actually. It was like this Chinese goddess based off protection, because my mother is Chinese. Social media wasn't as big a thing for looking up tattoo artists. It was kind of like, this person is in my town I live in, I'm just going to go to them. And he was an older man. Like I said, I was 18. He was 34. He was married with children. But I was also very like tattoo hungry because I knew I wanted to be a tattoo artist. So I was like kind of fighting my way to try and get into the tattoo apprenticeship experience. And I was also kind of yes manning at that point then too.
As you are when you're 18.
Yes. Yeah. Also that. He started the tattoo, and about 5 hours in, he's like, I have another tattoo, so you need to come back tonight. And I was like, okay, I don't know. Sure. This is like my third tattoo.
Yeah. This is just what they do.
Yeah. He's like, I'll text you when I'm ready for you to come back. And I was like, okay. So I leave.
Red flag number one.
Yeah. Whoosh. over my head. And I'm waiting. I think I go home and I have dinner. And then he texts me and he's like, can you come back almost around midnight? Yeah, I'll go back at midnight. So I do. And we're working on my tattoo.
Shop's empty, I'm assuming.
Yes, at this point, shop is empty. It's just him and I. And he's like, do you want to smoke a joint? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm really glad I said no.
Yeah.
And then he starts, because at first he was talking about like how he's married and has kids.
When you were at the shop before.
Yeah, in the daytime. But now he's kind of like making some offhanded comments. And then, he'd get close to me. He'd be like, oh, you smell so good. And it's like, okay, thank you. And again, I'm still kind of like being like nice because I want a tattoo apprenticeship. So he's doing the tattoo and he's like, yeah, do you want to like, we're kind of talking about anime. And he's like, oh, after this, do you want to watch Akira? Because he had like a couch with a TV. And I was like, no, it's going to be like 2 a.m. And so we stopped the tattoo. And then I had to go back because it wasn't even done. And he like kind of offered me like the beginning of his an apprenticeship. Someone ended up messaging me and being like, don't work for him. He's kind of So I ended up not, which is good for an 18-year-old to follow her gut.
Yeah.
So again, that gut instinct and also someone telling me don't do it. I just thought, the right person for me as a mentor will come along. About 2 years into my new apprenticeship, when I finally found one, 2 years later, he has an apprentice. It's a young female. He leaves his wife and his kids for her. They are now dating.
Oh,
big surprise. She probably worked for, I don't even know how long she worked for him for, a few years. And then eventually they break up. And I, funny enough, see him at the water slides. And I'm about now 4.5 years into tattooing. And he comes up and he's all like, hey, yeah. Oh, you're tattooing? That's great. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm single.
So at that point, you're early 20s still.
Yep, still early 20s.
38.
Yep. I am still baby.
Yeah.
And he is old man.
Weren't you with your niece?
Yes, I was also with my niece who was 3 at this point. And here's this creepy man coming up to tell me he's single. Well, I'm in a bathing suit too.
Yeah, that's a whole another aspect.
Yeah. So also another tip. If you want to be a tattoo artist and you're looking for an apprenticeship, do not settle.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let that creepy man be creepy just so you can get a tattoo apprenticeship. I almost did. It could have gone so much worse.
Yeah.
I could have had a really bad time. I'm so glad I waited.
Shout out to the person that told you not to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm so glad. Did not do that.
Yeah. It's so tough, I don't know, in both of our jobs. Because there's a lot of overlapping that happens in tattooing and hair.
Oh, definitely.
But when you're an apprentice and you're so hungry and you're trying to get started out, it is very difficult because you're willing to kind of take creepy situations, abusive situations.
Yeah.
When you shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. You brush it off.
You just brush it off. You just kind of accept it and you're like, oh, that's just the way it is. I want to get in. So I'm sure it's a lot more competitive with tattooing too. Hair apprenticeships are a whole actual job. You get paid. It's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. But I think that needs to change in both of the careers. You don't need to take that stuff. And as mentors or senior stylists, we shouldn't treat apprentices that way just because we had it that way.
Oh, 100% agree.
Yeah.
I would never treat my current apprentice now the way I was treated during mine.
Yeah.
Because they are a person.
Yeah.
And, the abusive apprenticeship mentality, it just needs to go.
It just needs to go. I mean, I heard a lot of senior stylists say, well, you need to get strong. You need to have a backbone. That's why I'm going to treat you like garbage. And that's just not, it just doesn't have to be that way.
No, not at all.
So many other ways to be strong, and clients suck enough sometimes where that'll teach you.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting just going back to the overlapping that you and I both have in this job. We have actually RMT who comes and massages all of us. Shout out to you, Dan. You are our savior.
God bless Dan. I'm not a religious girl, but God bless Dan.
Honestly. And he beats us up. But he always says tattoo artists and hairstylists have the worst backs.
Yeah.
And it's we're in our shrimp position, but you have to like stand all day.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel like I've been in my job for 10 years now, and I feel like it has aged me an additional 10 years.
Yeah.
I feel like every year I'm in my job, it's ×2 on my body.
Oh, God.
If not more.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like the longevity we have in this job too, because of like situations like that.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing hair for 10 years and I, in April, will hit 9 with tattooing. And same thing, my body is creaking.
Yeah, right?
It hurts. Like a cold breeze comes by and I'm like, my bones!
I just
hurts.
fall over.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if you notice this with older hairstylists, but like older tattoo artists, like all of them have like arthritis, like severe back pains.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a lot are in constant pain now.
I've seen it with my dad. My dad's been tattooing for, I think, 30 years or close to it, around it. And yeah, he's got hip problems.
Yeah. Oh, the hips. Yeah.
Everything. Thankfully now he takes better care of himself and he's more conscious of that. But I've seen it. It's tough. Yeah. It's really tough. And there's no really way to avoid it. You can be conscious of how you hold your body and everything. But at the end of the day, it's still a career, like both careers that just really wear on you physically.
Oh, yeah. And let's talk about mentally and how we have the same overlap of being therapists.
Yes.
Something about getting your hair did, getting tattooed makes you real vulnerable and gossipy, and you just want to spill your beans.
I love it.
You love it.
I eat it up.
All the time?
Tell me more. Oh, typically, I think more times than not, I do enjoy hearing from clients, and they'll like, my clients will be like, oh my God, I'm sorry for trauma dumping. I'm like, no, give me your whole backstory. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Wow.
But it depends on the person. It depends on how they approach it.
Yeah.
I've definitely had people that have like trauma dumped and it's been very overwhelming and a lot, but I like hearing my client stories. I find it interesting.
I do for the most part.
It is very draining though.
Yes, especially when you are still trying to do a job.
Yeah.
Because a therapist, you pay to sit there and listen, where you are paying us not to listen, but to perform our job.
Multitasking to the extreme.
Yeah. And some days, I just don't even have the energy for that, but I can't really tell someone. I find it really hard to. So I tend to more so write it in like my FAQ and like forms, like think of where you are mentally before coming into a tattoo or a hair appointment. Like if you're really not okay, I would suggest just rescheduling.
Yeah. And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's like rescheduling if you're sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can be sick in the head.
Totally.
And just like need a day and not come in, and it's totally fine. I'd way prefer that because I don't mind sometimes too. I think it depends on the context of what is being told to me.
Yeah.
I've had some really intense stuff where like it can also trigger me. I am a human who has
their own traumas.
Yeah. And it will freeze me in my job where I'll go home and feel like sick.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're in that headspace too, like you can't perform at your best abilities. Yeah. So it could throw off.
And tattoos are permanent. Yeah. I want it to be my best ability.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have a tattoo that looks like someone who is triggered is doing it.
Yeah.
So
not there.
Think of that next time you feel the need to trauma dump on your tattoo artist.
Or just ask.
Yeah. Or just ask. I think that's the best thing.
Yeah, I have a lot of clients who are like, do you mind if I get into Yeah. Give me.
Yeah. I find it's nice when people ask. Sometimes though my people please, I'm like, and I'm like, I should have said no.
Yeah.
But I think just asking is the best thing you could do if you do feel like you need to just kind of let us know what's going on in your life.
Yeah. I feel like it's different for tattooers too, because you are so like, you're very close to someone and it's a lot more intimate. And with hair, I'm still close with people, but I'm not like hurting them and like having that kind of physical connection. I find with hair, a lot of people tell their hairstylists like they're the first to know that they're pregnant, or they just had like a really shitty diagnosis, or a family member passed away. And I think that can be really nice for people. And I like to be that for people.
Almost like cathartic for them.
Yeah.
Or getting like a fresh do.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just kind of having that like anonymous person in their life that I just understand your side of it. So
Yeah.
I don't have any biases really, but I think a big tool for new stylists going into it to not have burnout from that is you just need to leave it at the door.
Yes.
You need to leave it at the chair. You can't take it home with you. And thankfully I've gotten really good with doing that. And I think that's why I can handle more of it.
Yeah, it's definitely an acquired skill.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It takes time. And maybe I just disassociate. I'm like, no, I just won't deal with that right now.
Yeah.
I also like bonding with my clients over stuff and kind of having someone to relate to. I think that's also really important when you're going through shitty stuff in your life.
Yeah, I find I bond a lot with my clients through those kind of things.
Yeah.
And it does form relationships, and they do come back more often because they start to feel safe.
Exactly.
That's something we've kind of talked about too as our space, is that, you know, you can't claim yourself as the safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Someone needs to feel safe in your space for it to be that. Because I think a lot of businesses will promote that they are the safe space, and those are the ones I find you see aren't, where you hear the stories.
Or like a place for everyone. And
it's
like,
it's not.
It's not.
No. Yeah. That's another big thing I find. People of color trying to get tattooed, and artists turning them away because they're like, oh, your skin color can't get tattooed. And it's like, well, no, that's not true. It's just that the artist doesn't have the skill.
Yeah, skill and experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would rather much say, you know, I don't have much experience tattooing someone with melanated skin. I don't know how this is going to look. And we can try together, or you can go to someone who is maybe more experienced with it. But I'm never going to be like, your skin's too dark, it can't be tattooed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, you're not a safe space.
No,
you're not making that person feel safe.
No, you're not. I think like your clientele and your people need to determine whether you're a safe space or not. Because if you don't feel safe, you're not a safe space.
No.
Like you can't just, like you said, you can't just claim it and be that way. I know when I first moved out here from the city, being where we live and more of a conservative Bible Belty area, in my Instagram bio, I did put like safe space or something along those terms, because I wanted people to know in where we live that I am different. And I had like pride flag and like other flags in my bio too. And I mean, I did delete that over time because I do agree that people need to decide whether you're a safe space or not. But I wanted to like, hey, just so you know, like I really am trying to do hair for everyone. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think one thing too is you can claim to be the safe space, but if the people you work with aren't, then you are not a safe space.
Yeah, which is really difficult.
Yeah, because there have been situations in shops that I've been in, same thing, claiming to be for everyone a safe space, but then, you know, they have their opinions about the trans or queer or non-binary. And if they're openly talking about that in the studio,
it's not a safe space
it's
for
not
those
safe.
people.
It's not.
It's the same for salons too.
Yeah, I can claim to be, but if the people around me are not, it's not a safe space for that person.
Yeah.
And I can see that again in hair, definitely being a big thing.
Yeah.
The girlies love to gossip.
Absolutely. Yeah. We do.
Yeah. I always feel like when I used to go into hair salons and being like, I'm the weirdo, all these hot girls. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. That's why I always thought it was so funny, like seeing you in hair salons, because I'm like, you're like the alt girl. What are you doing? Come into the tattoo world where you fit.
Yeah. Yeah. I have said for many years, I never felt like I fit in hair salons. I feel more at home in a tattoo shop.
Here we are.
And here we are.
In your home.
Yes.
So that's something I think we did really well, was make a curated space with both of our styles to feel comfy and cozy and kind of more light. I think one of the compliments we get the most is that people feel comfortable here, which feels really good.
Yeah, it's the best compliment to get.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, yes, that's what we were going for. And just seeing the overlap, like, you know, the other day you were doing one of like someone I tattoo often, her hair, and I just walk in and we just all start talking.
Yeah.
And that's great. That feels so good. I think we've just created such a beautiful little home for us.
I think so too.
So cute.
So cute. Very comfy.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we're kind of the change that we want to see in both tattoo and hair. If you would agree with the hair. I don't know. I'm speaking for you. But
no, definitely.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the cool thing for our generation, and taking taking over in a sense. It is more of like the nerdy alternative art kids from school now.
Little neurodivergent.
The neurospicy.
Yeah.
Coming into these spaces and inviting those other types into the spaces too. And I think that's also why I kind of wanted to make this podcast, is here's a new outlook on the tattoo world, the hair world. You're going to be coming back. We have to wear these outfits every time, I think. And we'll talk more about tattoos and clients and everything. I think this is a good point to start. This was kind of just like a fun little test we wanted to do, see how a podcast works for us, and hopefully give information as well into the tattoo world, what you can expect, what you shouldn't expect, some facts, some personal stories. And if you enjoyed it, please let us know. If you have questions, please let us know so we can answer them in the next podcast. And I don't know, is that it? I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of Tattoo Cuties. Thank you, Diva.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Tiny clap.
Tiny clap over the microphone.
Tiny little clap. Shh. It's a tiny clap.
It's a golf clap.
It's a tiny clap.
Did you have fun on the podcast?
Yes, I did.
That's good.
It was very good.
I also had a really good time.
Please don't perceive me.
It's just on you. Do you want people to know where to follow you on Instagram?
Yeah.
So you can follow Diva on her Instagram at
Diva Does Hair. Pretty easy.
Yep.
I like to do hair. And
she does it in our beautiful studio. Isn't that neat? And you can follow me at Savshimi. And if you want to follow us as a group, it's remedy__studio. And watch our vlogs. Subscribe, like, comment. And that's it. Thanks for watching episode 1 of Tattoo Cuties. Bye!